Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening. Just days after violent clashes in Melbourne, there are fears an anti-trans rally in Hobart could attract the same neo-Nazi presence. Equality advocates have expressed their dismay as Tasmania's Jewish leaders call for greater education to deter the hateful actions.
A frightening gesture of the Nazi salute. These scenes from an interstate protest are a painful image for Launceston Holocaust survivor George Goldstein.
That is very concerning for me, and it should be concerning to everybody. If there's any sign of Nazis, then the police should stop them, arrest them or whatever.
The actions were performed during an anti-trans rally hosted by controversial activist Kelly J. Keane-Minshall, who is set to speak on Hobart's Parliament lawns tomorrow, with grave concerns raised by equality advocates.
The slurs that we're hearing from the speaker and from her supporters are abhorrent and do nothing to create the kind of inclusive state that Tasmania wants to be.
The organisation now hosting their own vigil in a show of support for LGBTQI+ Tasmanians.
Our vigil will be a peaceful one that involves people coming together and showing support.
Tasmanian Senator Claire Chandler took to social media over the issue, saying it's preposterous to suggest those fighting for the sex-based rights would want the most violent and dangerous men anywhere near a women's rights event.
Dr Woodruff and I will be standing in solidarity with transgender Tasmanians, their allies.
Parliament's presiding officers have responded to the concerns, confirming the event will go ahead. They say while there may be opposing views to the protests, censoring free speech is not in the interest of a democratic society.
We believe that there should be free speech, but that should be respectful, and that's what's very important.
All on display when decision makers return to Parliament tomorrow, with the push for the event to be withdrawn denied. Grace Evans, 7 Tasmania News.
A new study has revealed the concerning number of Tasmanian school leaders being subjected to abuse in the past year. The Australian National University research shows more than half of principals across the state were threatened with physical violence. There are now calls to boost support for those in leadership roles.
There are many principals in our school system that are at the beginning of their school leadership journey, and they need significant support around them, particularly when they're dealing with antisocial behaviours.
The report also recommends employers introduce wellbeing priorities for principals as part of their performance framework. Tasmania's solar panel installers say they're missing out on work under the Energy Saver loan scheme due to bureaucratic red tape. They want requirements to be eased, but the state government is defending the program.
It was a program promising a bright future for local solar energy companies. The Energy Loan Saver scheme aimed at helping households turn to the sun, also providing a pipeline of work for installers. But the industry says they've been left in the dark.
Our members are saying to us that we're missing out on work to mainland companies because of this policy that's been put on the fly.
The requirement for installers, including those who make and install panels, to be Clean Energy Council retail certified, frustrating the industry. They say the thousands of dollars needed to sign up is costing many local companies work.
It's around $3 million of work that is spread around across Tasmania. That I'd say a high percentage of that is being missed by local contractors.
This is red tape gone mad. This is absolute madness. This is really disappointing.
The state government defending the process.
It has and been accredited by the Australian Competition and Consumer Commission, and those principles are important.
Also confident Tasmanian businesses are securing the lion's share of the work.
7 out of 10 of the installers, I'm advised, are Tasmanian companies. I'm very pleased about that.
Labor believes the condition is only there because of concerns raised about program partner Bright Capital. The industry body also says a number of nation-leading protections are already in place for Tasmanian consumers.
100% of solar installations here in Tasmania have to be checked before they can be energised and turned on. The installs are protected under CBOS and TechSafe.
Something not an issue for mainland retailers looking to make a quick dollar.
They can do the job and then go back to the mainland, and if something goes wrong, our government and our protection agencies have to chase them.
John Hunt, 7 Tasmania News.
Drone technology is enhancing capabilities inside Tasmania's electricity network. Aerial inspections previously conducted by helicopter will now be replaced with the state-of-the-art equipment. TasNetworks says it's a vital asset in keeping power lines secure across the state.
This gives us faster coverage, it gives us more silent coverage, quieter coverage, so that we can make sure our assets are in the best condition possible to serve the public safely and reliably.
The industry is moving more toward beyond visual line of sight. It's moving toward much higher quality data.
It follows a successful trial last year that confirmed the efficiency of using drone imaging. The Mayor of Clarence believes the council and state government can still work together despite a no-confidence motion being tabled against a senior government minister. Alderman Tony Mulder is launching one tonight against Planning Minister Michael Ferguson after he overrode a council decision on the Skylands development.
I've had the pleasure of knowing the Deputy Premier now for a number of years. We've always had a very professional relationship, and I'm confident that will continue.
It comes as a council releases its latest consultation for the City Heart project. Among the features, transforming the former golf course into a city park, along with new urban developments.
We'd love to keep residents on this side of the river when they're shopping, recreation, anything like that. So if we can keep them on this side of the river and also bring people over from the Western Shore, that's always exciting.
The concepts are available to view on Council's website. A Melbourne grandmother is marking her territory in Tasmania, travelling by foot across the island over the next month. Tracy Spithill is walking to the beat of her own drum to raise money and awareness for a cause close to her heart.
Standing up and stepping out. Tracy Spithill is setting off, walking 300 kilometres to raise funds for charity Destiny Rescue.
They rescue children out of sexual exploitation and slavery. So it's about $1,800 to rescue one child. So I decided one year that I would do a walk and raise as much money as I could.
She's an amazing and humble woman. She is just truly wonderful.
Starting from Low Head in the north, making her way to Kanani Mount Wellington in the south, with a little help from her friends.
We've been friends, we're sisters, you know, we're more than friends, and so, you know, we're joined at the heart. And so I just like to support her in any way I can, whatever she's, you know, doing.
And it's not the Melbourne grandmother's first big feat. Tracy has walked the talk before.
In 2018, I walked from the Sydney Harbour Bridge to the Westgate Bridge in Melbourne, which was 882 kilometres. And in 2020 March, I started at Stanley in Tasmania and walked to St Mary's.
Walking to her own beat in the heat to raise awareness and the goal to reach $10,000.
They just need all the support that they possibly can.
Tracy and her team are encouraging the community to take part by donating, then you'll even get to sign the car.
It just builds momentum and people love doing something like that. It's just a really lovely way to remember people.
The Trailblazer already has itchy feet for the next big adventure, with the Melbourne to Adelaide walk in the pipeline. McKenna Bailey, 7 Tasmania News.
Tasmania's Australian of the Year says education is the key to eliminating racial discrimination. As Hobart kicked off Harmony Week with a day of dancing, food and music, John Kamara encouraged locals to have a conversation about embracing other cultures. Since fleeing war-torn Sierra Leone 19 years ago, Mr Kamara says he has experienced both bigotry and support.
People who don't know who I am have treated me differently, but also I have had experience where there are a lot of people who have reached out to me and assisted me.
It doesn't matter what background you come from, whether you were born here or you were not, you are a human being and you contribute to this community.
With a message of everyone belongs, Harmony Week hopes to spark discussions around how to contribute to a better society. 16 new midwives are entering the state's health workforce. Staff are celebrating the completion of their studies before a graduation ceremony in Launceston this afternoon. The latest intake is the 4th cohort of Tasmanian midwifery students to complete the bachelor program since it was introduced in 2017.
To become a midwife is something that I could only describe as a privilege. Such an honour to support women through one of the most life-transforming moments and periods of their life.
The learning begins now. So really all of that consolidated theoretical work, clinical placement work, ensuring that they complete all of the clinical requirements for the course sets them up for a foundation for practice. And so the rubber hits the road.
The program is a 2-year accelerated course delivered by the University of Southern Queensland in collaboration with the Department of Health.
Tasmanian motocross star Jed Beaton has made an emphatic return to the Australian circuit after 6 years of racing overseas. But his podium finish on the weekend is just the first step towards relaunching his international career. The language of engines and exhausts is universal for Jed Beaton.
Super slingshot around the outside there from Jed Beaton, who's on fire at the moment.
From Tasmania's northwest coast, he spent 6 years racing around the world. His latest chapter is the Australian Pro MX Series, starting with a podium finish.
Had a tough year last year, so I want to get back to my normal self, riding good again, feeling good on the bike and just enjoying racing.
In scorching heat, touching 40 degrees, Beaton escaped a crash shortly after the gates dropped.
Oh, and then a rider got down, and there is a massive amount of riders down in that first turn.
But Beaton kept going up, finishing 3rd overall to begin the season and reignite his mission to return to international racing.
A little bit of a reset year, get some good results back here.
He decided to return down under after being unsatisfied with the contracts on offer in the global MXGP. But he hopes to have another crack by landing a one-off ride when the series comes to Indonesia later this year.
I think I should have a little bit of time to do something different then, try and get over and get my name back in the mix.
But if all goes to plan, the Aussie dirt will be enough of a springboard to return to the motocross mountaintop.
Definitely the goal is to go and try and win the championship and then head back overseas. That's what all the hard work gets done for, and that's the ultimate goal in the end.
Riding every bump of a bone-rattling sport. In the NPL, Clarence and Devonport are already looking ahead to round 2. Both sides split the points on the opening day of the season over the weekend. The Zebras taking positives out of the result against last year's champion ahead of a tough clash against last year's runner-up, South Hobart, on Sunday.
An away trip can do numerous things, and thankfully we've got something out of the game and we'll build on that moving forwards.
We've got this week to prepare the game and just show up on Saturday ready to get the 3 points again.
The Strikers will host NPL newcomer Launceston United on Saturday. After 2 seasons without cracking the senior side, Tasmanian Perry King has been released by the Kangaroos. The Glenorchy talent was taken at pick 43 in 2021's AFLW draft.
Good evening. Hope you've had a happy Monday. Well, it was a cool Monday in Hobart, 16 degrees today, Launceston 19, 20 in Devonport, Burnie a top of 17, Low Head also on our high with Devonport with 20 degrees. A cooler than average day today, some numbers down by 7 degrees on the March average. Bushy Park and the Flinders Island 18, St Helens, Friendly Beaches and King Island 17, Strawn 16 and Grove 15 degrees. A few light showers cleared the west and far south today as the cloud moved away. The bigger picture, areas of low cloud along a good portion of the southern and eastern coastlines of the country. A broad band of cloud extends across South Australia and Victoria, convective cloud over the north. Tomorrow a high over the Tasman pushes a weak ridge back over the state, troughs over the east and west. The winds tomorrow, east nor'easterly, getting up to 25 and even 30 knots over the northwest. Lighter, more variable winds over the west and south, those 3-metre swells decaying during the afternoon. A strong wind warning has been issued for waters between Sandy Cape and Stanley. Hobart tomorrow, mostly sunny and 21. 20 the high for Adventure Bay, sunny 2 for Tarraleah, 1 overnight, a top of 18 tomorrow. Launceston becoming cloudy, a top of 21 degrees, 20 the high for Devonport and Bridport, fine but a bit of cloud about. 18 for Burnie, a possible late shower, sunny for Strawn, mostly 19 and 19 also for Marrawar. St Helens 18, 19 for Swansea, a late shower over Flinders Island, white mark 20 degrees. UV sitting at a high 6 for tomorrow. Now, what about Wednesday? Well, a few showers over the northeast, patchy morning fog, however fine and sunny over the west. A shower over the east and south on Thursday with mostly light winds, and on Friday sunny over the Bass Strait Islands, mainly fine elsewhere apart from a possible shower over the northeast and southwest. A mostly sunny 32 in Perth, a morning shower for Adelaide and Melbourne, a late shower heading for Canberra, a cloudy 24 in Sydney. Sunny but cool, 13 in Hobart, sunny in Launceston, 17 at the moment, sunny also in Devonport and 15. And Kim, I know it's over half an hour away, but I'm just getting my ears ready for Megan Trainor on Australian Idol. Oh, that's better.
Oh, look, I'd have to agree, but we do love Australian Idol. It is coming up and it is good, entertaining viewing. But before we go, a look ahead to a story we'll have for you tomorrow. It's one of Tasmania's best known and most trusted organisations, and as it turns 100 years old, we take a look at the RACT, which has grown from humble beginnings. There's one thing over the past century that hasn't changed.
But at least it's reassuring to know that there's always someone there to help, no matter what the situation.
Our reporter Grace Evans joins an RACT patrol to mark the milestone. That's tomorrow on your Nightly News. But that is all for now. Thanks for joining us. I'll be back later with updates. Good night.